to make sure that our voices are heard in the swamps of Washington, and that Donald Trump goes back to the White House to make America great again and start to clean that house. Now, President Trump said something last night when we were in Georgia that really struck a chord with me. He told the people there in Georgia that what he has built and what he is leading is a movement of love. Love for our country, love for our freedom, love for the American people, and the promise of getting us back towards a path of peace, freedom, and prosperity. This is why I'm supporting President Trump, and this is why we need to send him back to the White House. So I want you to join me right now, sharing all of the aloha that is in your heart, and welcome the 47th President to the United States here on stage right now.
Kamala Harris had projected weakness on the world stage. Imagine if Kamala Harris was the commander-in-chief. We're on the verge of World War III.
We feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were
under
4 years ago.
President Biden, nearly 7.3 million illegal immigrants crossed the southwest.
The Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the benefit of my daughter.
You answer all those questions, yes, well, I think your choice is very obvious. Do you vote for?
You know, they want hope. The people need hope. They want to have a future.
If you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow the next 4, then I would suggest another choice that you make.
Walking lines of absolute savage.
Securing the border to foreign policy progress and boosting the economy.
Trump beats Biden. Harris in a landslide.
Many are supporting because their lives were simply better under his administration.
People are hungry to be proud of this country again, and that energy is something that Trump is bringing.
November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country.
Sorry to keep you waiting, complicated business. As I was saying,
2024 is our final battle.
Everything is on the line in this election. No one can sit home and know
This election is going to decide the fate of Western civilization.
With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. Take back that glorious White House.
and we will liberate America from these villains
Once and for all.
It's a dangerous job being president.
Polling shows Donald Trump expanding his lead. We see Trump leading in those swing states to retake the White House.
We gotta get out there and vote. We can end this insanity once and for all. America, great again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th President of the United States of America,
I shut the audio off because that'll get me a copyright. When he gets to the mic, I'll turn it on. Please remember to donate to the page. Please remember to donate to the page. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We are here. We are here. So we got it going on. If you didn't know, Pennsylvania court just ruled that they can have messed up ballots. Let me wait till he speaks. See y'all on the other side.
Thank you very much, everybody. And a very big hello, Las Vegas. We love you, Las Vegas. And hello to Nevada. I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. It's great. It's great. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. What do you think? No way. Nah, you were much better off 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and 7 years ago, and 8 years ago. This is terrible what's happening to our country. This is terrible. We have people that are grossly incompetent. We have the worst president in the history of the United States. We have the worst vice president in the history of the United States. And unlike us here tonight, we have an intelligent group of people. You have a man that doesn't need teleprompters. Wasn't that nice? But in Georgia tonight, they say that Kamala has just absolutely bombed. She's bombed. It's the big story. In fact, I was going to watch it. I didn't want to come out. I wanted to watch that first. Isn't that terrible? Then I could explain to you what happened, but I hear it was bad tonight. But it's always bad. It's always bad. But I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. And with your vote in this election, we will end inflation. We, all of us together, we will stop the invasion. And we will bring back the American dream, something you haven't heard about for about 4 years. Think about it. 4 years ago, we had no inflation. We were energy independent. We were strong as hell. Nobody was playing games with us. Nobody was threatening us. The Middle East wasn't fighting. Russia wasn't going into Ukraine. They never would have gone. What a shame. What a mess we are in. The world, the whole world is in a mess. And nuclear war with incompetent people looms. Don't kid yourself. We've never been so close. Our country is being crippled and destroyed by Kamala Harris and Biden, but he's like not even the president. What's going on with this guy? You know, we're supposed to be talking about the president. We're talking about the vice president who got no votes. Whether you like him or not, I'm not a big fan, as you probably know. But, you know, we had a debate. He didn't do particularly well. I wouldn't say it was the greatest. It was not Winston Churchill. Do we agree? The late, great Winston Churchill, who was a great debater, this was not. But he didn't do well. But he went down. And they should have let him. I mean, at 14 million votes, she got no votes. And now she's imploding worse than him. She's actually imploding, if you take a look. Because, look, I'm not supposed to say it, but we are leading by so much. In Nevada, we're leading by a lot. In Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, even states that are typically never in play for 50, 60, 70 years, their team are getting close. Sir, New Hampshire is in play. I said, oh, that's nice. Let's make a trip. Let's make a trip. But the fact is that states, other states too, big states, are all in play. And they like us, but you know what? They think she is grossly incompetent, let's face it. She is not doing well. We can't have her as president. Can't have. We've had that for 4 years. We're not going to go another 4 years. She broke it, and I promise you I will fix it, and we'll fix it fast. With your support on November 5th, America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice. Spirit. It's like a pent-up, isn't it? It's like pent-up spirit. That's crazy. It's like a boiler waiting to explode. You've been waiting for this so long. Get out and vote. We can't take any chances. Got to get out and vote. That's why they say, don't say how well we're doing, sir. Please, please. We got to get If you say how well, they'll say, oh, we don't have to vote. The president, and then they throw a couple of more votes in there, right? No, we can't let that happen. No, you have to get out and vote. If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will obliterate our economy, kill millions of jobs, kill thousands of people too, by the way, and destroy your family finances, probably forever. Kamala's inflation has already cost the typical family over $30,000 in higher prices. They all talk, everybody I speak to, they talk about groceries. You know, such a basic term, groceries. The groceries, they mean every single item of grocery because your foods have gone up 50, 60, 70%, much more than the fake news tells you. Look at oh, that's a lot of fake news. Man, that is a lot of fake news. I don't believe it. Wow. You know, they sort of have a death wish because they don't want to follow me, but they have to because those ratings. Ultimately, it's ratings first for them. Country about 5th. I'd say country is about 5th or 6th, right? The great Vivek. Stand up, Vivek. And now she wants to raise taxes on the typical Las Vegas family by an average of $5,000 a year. The only one I've ever known campaigning and raising taxes. Take a look at the video, please.
Get rid of that tax bill, calling for a full repeal of President Trump's tax cuts. If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many different tax policies which could cripple the economy. But first, that 85% of the middle class got a tax cut.
Americans will face a hike. The Tax Foundation finding that a couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would have to pay over $2,400 more in taxes.
And on day 1, I will repeal that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to work to get rid of that tax cut. Joe and I are about to get rid of that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut. Everything from a 70 to 80%
also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes. Taxing unrealized gains just estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes. Taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word.
Well, the value of your home goes up. You pay higher taxes even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way the stock moves to say, we're going to tax what you don't have. That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign.
Under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. There has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors, and there has to be, and that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that should never be the reason not to actually put a fee, and it's a particular carbon fee.
And that's just the beginning with her. Think of it. She wants to tax. Think of what this means. She wants to tax unrealized gains. In other words, you don't know if you have a gain or not. Like Danica over here, she makes a fortune. She makes so much money. I wonder if she would mind paying unrealized, because someday you may have a gain. Let's tax it. I don't know. Danica, Patrick, great. I've been a fan of yours so long. So talented. And so beautiful, but I'm not allowed to say that as a politician. So I will withdraw that statement. I don't think so.
Let me see. What am I streaming from? Where am I streaming from? I'm wired. Wired in display. That's good. All right. Let's see. Let me try this one more time. Let's see. Let me see where that help.
Tax on tips. She wanted to increase and did increase the so-called tip allocation tax rate by 60%. She raised your tax, and then she's supposed to say no tax on tips. In other words, even after Kamala wrecked your economy with inflation, she came after you with tip income, like sort of like a vulture would do. If she gets 4 more years, Kamala Harris will pick your pocket spare. By contrast, I will massively cut taxes for our great seniors. All three are very good for this room. Which is the most? Let's do a poll, free poll. I won't have to pay $700,000. Which you like more? Ready? We'll go tips, overtime, Social Security. Which is the way? Which is the, because you guys, I mean, you sort of have them in this state, you have them all. Tips is great, but overtime is great too. Ready? Vote for one. You can only, let's assume you can only have one, which you can't. You're going to get all three. What do you like best? Free poll for Trump. No tax on tips?
There you go. There y'all go. That should sound a lot better.
No tax on
That
overtime?
should sound a lot better.
What is that? Okay. No tax on Social Security benefits for the seniors. That's amazing. See, the seniors always win. They always win. Under the Trump administration, we're going to build an economy that lifts up all Americans, including African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and also members of our great Asian American and Pacific Islander community, many of whom are here today, especially so many amazing Nevada Filipinos, right? I have to be honest, so what happened? I came in and I saw so many people. I said, where the hell? They had the most beautiful, they had the most beautiful clothing, such bright colors. I said, where the hell do all these people come from? And when they told me, that's why I put that little paragraph in there. I said, it's great. You are the greatest people, hardworking people, and we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna take care of you. You're gonna take care of us. No, you're great. No, what spirit, what great spirit. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Beautiful clothing, the colors. I want to wear colors like that. How would it be if I walked into the Oval Office with some of those colors I saw tonight? I don't know, maybe. For me, I don't think it works. But we're pleased to be joined by an incredible leader from the Asian American Pacific community, a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve and a former congresswoman and Democratic presidential candidate. And you just heard her, and she is great, and she is so popular. You know, I always say she's a woman of common sense. I've watched her for a long time. Of course, not that long because she's quite young. But I've watched her for a long time, and I've always loved her stance. She doesn't want to go to war with countries that nobody ever heard of, that don't want war. Tulsi Gabbard, she's great. Thank you. Great job, Tulsi. Great job, Tulsi. Thank you. She's terrific. And we have, don't forget, Bobby Kennedy is going to straighten out our health. He's going to straighten out our health and all of that stuff. And I don't know if I'm going to have him working too much on the environment. I'm a little concerned about that with Bobby. I don't know if I want him playing around with our liquid gold under our feet, you know. I gotta say, Bobby, work on health. He's great. Because, you know, I like the liquid gold, I think, more than his oil and gas. I think I like that a little bit more than Bobby. But he'll have an impact. No, he's so popular. We introduced him last night. Place went crazy. Went crazy with Tulsi, too. And Tucker Carlson was here last night. He was very popular, really popular. We had a great time last night, but we had about 20,000. Today we have 29,000 people, and we have 29,000 outside. You can fill the place up twice. We broke the record in this place. It's a nice place, by the way, quite nice. But we have a bigger number of people outside. If anybody would like to give up your seat, please raise your hand. We have a big number of people outside. It's a great honor. You know what? This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country, probably the history of the world. It's called MAGA. It's called Make America Great Again. It's very simple. When Sleepy Joe Biden, remember a year ago, he was with the pink wall and it looked like the devil, and he was saying, "We will stop MAGA, we will stop." He didn't know what the hell he was. "We will stop MAGA." And we sent him a note. MAGA means Make America Great Again, Joe. We will stop making America great again. It's crazy. These people are crazy. To further defeat inflation and bring back our economy, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate. And we will immediately end one of the greatest scams in the history of our country, designed by a person that never even studied anything about the environment, AOC +3. You know AOC? Did you ever take a course on the environment? No, I didn't. But she said the planet will be dead within 12 years. We got to be careful. We got to be careful. You know why we got to be careful? Because with the environment. Don't worry, it's going to be just fine. If we don't have smart people in the White House, it'll be dead for another reason, nuclear weapons, and we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. Because I know the power. I rebuilt our entire military. I know the power of the nuclear. And we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let stupid people negotiate for us. And the mandate, the electric, and by the way, electric cars are great. Elon Musk endorsed us. He endorsed us, gave us the great. You know where he is right now? He's in Pennsylvania campaigning because he thinks this is the most important election in the history of our country. And he's great. And they are great. They're great, but for a certain group of people. But we want to have gasoline-propelled cars. We want to have hybrids, which are good. Hybrids are good, combination of both. We want to have everything. Hydrogen, I don't know about it. I think Danica would know about hydrogen. Hydrogen cars, Danica, they say they're really good, except there's one problem. When there's a mishap, when it explodes a little bit, they cannot even recognize you. So we never want to do that. That's too much. Hydrogen cars, I think we'll take a pass on hydrogen. Sir, your wife was in a little accident. Oh, what kind of a car? Hydrogen. Where is she? We don't know. She's gone. She's gone, sir. She's gone. Oh, my wife. I want to see my wife again. Hydrogen, no. I think we'll pass. They said they've gotten it much better. No, that's not good enough. But we will quickly become energy independent again. We were energy independent 4 years ago. And we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. Right? We're going to drill. And I'm going to cut your energy bill in half within, think of this, within 12 months. 50%, you're going to have it down. And the reason we can do it is we got that liquid gold. We don't know what to do with it. We have so much. We don't use it. And you know what? When that comes down, because that's what led it up, that and their stupid spending. But the energy is what led it up. They're paying a fortune for energy. We have it under the ground. We're going to use our energy. Your energy bills from January 20th, when we take office, will be down 50% within 12 months, and everything else will follow. To make housing more affordable, we will open up portions of federal land, which is what you've wanted here so badly. And your governor's doing a good job, by the way. We thank him very much, Joe Lombardo. Doing a very good job. For large-scale housing construction in those zones, we'll have ultra-low taxes and low regulations to help bring back jobs and factories from foreign lands. We have our jobs going to foreign lands. But I killed the big auto plant in Mexico, right? You know that. They were building the biggest auto plant in the world. You know what happened? I said, if you build it, you're going to pay a 200% tariff, meaning you're not going to be able to sell any cars into the United States. And by doing that, I saved Michigan. I helped South Carolina a lot, but I saved Detroit because they've been decimated so badly over the years, over the decades. They've been devastated. We're going to bring the auto industry back into our country through smart taxation and tariffs and incentives. And we're going to have every car company that wants to sell cars in this country, they're going to be making them in our country. And remember, the interest rate deduction, you buy a car, the interest rate deduction that I am going to get you is only going to pertain if the car is made in America. If it's made someplace else, forget it. Got to be made in America. I mean, how smart is that? How simple is that? I probably just tripled their production in Detroit. And by the way, we're leading in Michigan by a lot. We're leading in Wisconsin by a lot. We're leading in Pennsylvania by a lot. But I'm not supposed to say that. Just forget it. Pretend it's close. Everybody has to. No, they're afraid that if you hear that, they're not going to vote. I said, well, it's a double-edged sword. You know, if we're leading by a lot, they won't think about cheating as much as if we're just leading by a little bit, because we got to stop. We got to make these elections honorable and honest, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market anywhere on the planet, but only if they make their products here in America and hire American workers. Otherwise, they pay just like everybody else. And I say the most beautiful word in the entire dictionary of words is the word tariff. I love tariff. I can make anybody do anything through the use of tariffs. I can keep people out of war. I can keep us out of war. The word tariff is the most beautiful. I think I'll do this just so I don't get myself in trouble. I'm going to say the third most beautiful. Love and religion. And then the word tariff. Then the word tariff. I better do that, right, Vivek? I think I better say love is the most, and religion, they're the number 1, 2. You can switch them back and forth any way you want. This way I've just protected myself. But the third most beautiful word is the word tariff. You know, it really did. Tariffs needed a press agent because all these crooked politicians, they didn't like it. You know, they're all taken care of by foreign countries. They don't like tariffs. But we're doing the tariffs, and we're going to, you know, I charged China. China was charged by me hundreds of billions of dollars over the last few years that we were in the administration. In fact, Biden hasn't been able to get rid of them because they make so much damn money, they can't justify getting rid of them. He'd love to, because they paid him a lot of money, China. They've given him a lot of money. He'd love to be able to reciprocate, right? But no, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars in China tariffs and other tariffs too. And you can make, we stay out of wars. I've been, as an example, 2 countries fighting each other for like 1,000 years. They're always fighting back, and you probably know, I don't want to get involved, but you know the countries back and forth. And I got tired of it. I called them both. I said, here's the story. You guys have been fighting each other for thousands of years. Stop already. Are you ready to hear? 200% tariffs I'm going to put on each of your countries if you fight. And if you don't fight, you don't have the tariffs. But if you fight, now these are people that kill a lot of people. They kill each other for years and years and decades and centuries. I said, if you keep this up, I'm charging you 200% tariffs to do business in the United States. And I want to know immediately. Call me tomorrow. They call me up. Sir, we have decided not to go into war. I saved a lot of lives. Just... And you know, it had nothing to do with me, but I'd rather see people not get killed, okay? And you know what? Sadly, 0 chance that Putin would have gone into Ukraine if I were president. 0 chance. What a shame that is. All of the death, and it's far greater than you hear about. When they knock down those buildings that are 3 blocks long and 20 stories high, and they say 1 person was slightly injured. The death in that whole thing is just crazy. And I'm going to work on that from the day, hopefully, the day that we win, which is November 5th, in the evening, on the evening of November 5th. I will call Putin. I will call Zelensky. I said, we got to stop it. I'm going to try and get it done as president-elect. As president-elect. That'll give me plenty of credibility. I don't have to wait till January 20th. I'm going to try and get it done sooner than that. It's horrible. The people that are being killed. And October 7th would have never happened with Israel. All those people would never have been killed. Iran was broke. They would not have been able to do it. They weren't giving money to Hezbollah. They weren't giving money to Hamas. They didn't have money. They didn't have money. And I was looking to help them. You know, we did a thing called the Abraham Accords, and anybody else would have been given the Nobel Prize. Me, they gave Obama the Nobel Prize. He didn't even know why the hell he got it, right? He still doesn't. He got elected, and they announced he's getting the Nobel Prize. I got elected in a much bigger, better, crazier election. But they gave him the Nobel Prize. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nobel Prize will be won by Barack Hussein Obama. Right? Barack Hussein Obama got the Nobel Prize. He didn't even know what. He actually asked, why did I get it? Does anybody know? Right at the beginning, the early seconds of his administration. And he didn't do a good job either. He brought a lot of division and a lot of hatred. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished and now protected companies. We're going to protect these companies. That are going to come in by the thousands, and then we're going to protect them. Nobody's going to steal their product, their people, or their company. We're going to protect them through the intelligent use of tariffs. And as you probably heard, this big plant that everyone's talking about that's being built by China in Mexico right along the border, I said, if they build that plant and if I win, I'm going to put a 200% tariff on every car, and they're not going to be able to sell a car. And you know what happened? They announced last week they're not building the plant because of Trump. I saved Michigan, I saved Detroit. They're not, it was the biggest plant in the world, biggest auto plant in the world. And they announced they're not going to build now. They said, that guy's crazy. And we will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act if China or any other country, it's not just China, charges us a 100 or 200% tax or tariff, then we will charge them an identical 100 or 200% tax or tariff. Here's the story. They charge us, we charge them. You know what's going to happen? They're not going to charge us. Very simple. It's called an eye for an eye. I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And we're rapidly losing that title. Under Kamala's economy, millions of Americans are suffering because of inflation. And those seniors that are going to get that beautiful gift, the one of three on Social Security, they've been hurt so badly because most seniors, well, I'm a senior. Can you believe it? I'm a senior. I don't feel it. They'll say, he has a conflict of interest by proposing that. Oh, they'll say anything. I have a conflict of interest. I'm a senior and I'm proposing some great benefit for the seniors. He's giving it to what? They'll come up with something, those people. But the seniors have been hurt so bad by inflation that they are entitled to what we're getting them in terms of a tax reduction and in terms of getting them some extra, because they were devastated. You know, if you look at inflation, I think it's up 60, 70. They like to say it's 22, 23. It's not. They don't include the bad ones. But it's way up, and they're on a fixed income. They're entitled to what we're going to get them on Social Security. They really are. But I'm still amazed that they won. I've never done that they won my little poll. That little poll, those seniors never lose. They just know how to win. But we're losing our jobs, and they can't afford housing or groceries or a car. And yet Kamala is importing millions and millions of illegals across our borders, letting them come in, open borders. They come in, we have no idea who they are, where they come from. They come from parts unknown. They come from parts unknown, giving them taxpayer benefits at your expense. They say, come to America, we'll give you health care. Try going into a hospital now. Try going into a hospital. Go to Springfield, Ohio. Try getting into the hospital. They have this beautiful community of 52,000 people. And they just sent 30,000 people into Springfield, Ohio that don't speak English. You used to be sick, you'd go into a hospital. Now you're sick and they say, we can't take you. Every hospital is packed. Every school is packed. The schools are packed with students that don't even speak English. You know what they're looking for now? Interpreters, hundreds of interpreters. Can you believe it? Because the mayor is a very nice man, and he wants to help. And instead of saying, I'm sorry, you cannot be here, you have to go back where you came from, you have to, he said, we want to get interpreters. He's trying to be nice. That's not the way to be. And then you look at Aurora in California. Take a look at Aurora in Colorado, where people have better guns, more advanced than most militaries. They're called Supreme guns. They're Supreme. They're the Supreme version. They come out of Venezuela or other countries and they take over real estate by gunpoint. In other words, like me, they're in the real estate business. Isn't that nice? But they don't borrow money to do it. They don't put up their own money. They just walk in and start collecting the rents. It's out of control. The governor is petrified. He's petrified. He's a radical left Democrat. And I'll tell you, Colorado's so angry because even Democrats leading, think of that though. I'm leading everybody, Democrat, Republican, and that guy tried to take me off the ballot. We're going to win the state of Colorado. We got to win Colorado just to send a message. So Colorado, if you're watching, let's send a message back home. They cannot play with our Constitution. You're witnessing the economic oppression of Americans to reward and enrich illegal aliens. But all that stops 2 weeks from now. Think of it, 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. For 4 straight years, Kamala Harris has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions all over the world, from Venezuela to the Congo in Africa, and she's resettled them into a community near you. Isn't that lovely? And really did it, and they will prey on innocent Americans that have no idea what we're getting into. When we win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. And one of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has allowed to come into our country through her stupid and ridiculous open borders policy is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Isn't that nice that a bunch of guys got together in prison? It's named Tren de Aragua and is taking over all sorts of real estate and apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terror spree all over America, including Times Square in New York. Take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis, record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about.
San Antonio, Texas, just one of the latest cities to have apartment complexes taken over by members of the Venezuelan gang.
Biden and Harris have created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
He was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
If they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Martinez and Angel
wrapped his arms around Jocelyn's neck, took off her pants, and climbed on top of her. Later strangled Jocelyn to death, and then tied up her hands and feet.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
The men threatened to cut off her fingers if she did not cooperate. Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
A Peruvian gang leader who is wanted for 23 murders, who was arrested by Border Patrol near Roma, Texas, then released into America.
And, you know, Border Patrol, last week, they endorsed me. They gave me a full, complete, and unanimous endorsement. And they have every year since I've been involved in politics, every single year, but they're incredible people. But it wasn't the endorsement, it was what they said about her. They said she's the absolute worst thing that could happen to our country. And it's hard for them to say that. It's hard for them to say that. But they meant it. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. We're going to get them out. We're going to get them out. Under Kamala Harris, 13,099, and this comes right from Border Patrol. And they never did this before. They never gave out these numbers, but they did now because they see it as so serious. 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers. These are people in penitentiaries and jails, prisons, all over the world, are now on the loose in the United States of America. This summer, an illegal alien from El Salvador was arrested in West Virginia after going on a violent rampage in which he brutally beat a couple with a baseball bat so hard that the police said they've never seen anything like it. Repeatedly over and over again, then stabbed a man and then murdered a West Virginia mother of two and lit the body on fire in a field. Kamala Harris released him into custody even though he was convicted of murder and a convicted sex offender. And this is a violent person who hit again numerous times. And under her theory, it's just fine. He can do whatever he wants. No, we can't do this anymore. Would anybody, I just happen to have it, and this is, has anybody heard the snake before? Would you like to hear the snake again? You sure? Because it's a nice evening. We have not, is there any place better than being at a Trump rally, the biggest rally, the greatest movement? All right, we'll do the snake, yes? So this is a little play on words, not her kind of words, word salad. I don't like the term, but it's sort of true. It's terrible. I don't know what's going on in her mind. She's really... This is the snake, and this is really about illegal immigration and people that come into our countries that are murderers, killers, drug dealers, gang members, prisoners of the worst sort from all over the world. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried, "I'll take you in and I'll take care of you." "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken had been survived. "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," cried the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, "Thank you, ma'am," The snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I saved you, cried the woman, and you bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Huh? And that's what we're doing. That was pretty good. That ended up perfectly. I could have done that 100 times and that wouldn't have happened. You know, that really is just what's happening now. We're letting people in from prisons and we're letting them in from mental institutions. It's the snake. It's going to bite us like nobody's ever been bitten before. You know, in 2019, I don't even believe these in 2018, but 2019, Border Patrol put down 0 during my term, 4 years. 2019, 0 terrorists allowed into our country. We had it down, the drugs, the whole thing, human trafficking, mostly in women. You know, the human trafficking is mostly in women. But, you know, we're missing, think of this, 325,000 children are missing. They're gone. Never to be seen probably again. They're either sex slaves, or they're dead. Their parents will never see them again. They're missing. They come through the southern border. Think if I did that. Think if a Republican did that, what it would be. And the fake news back there never talks about it. They won't talk about it. But they have down that in 2019, 0 terrorists were allowed into our country. Now, I think they're probably wrong, but because there must be some. And then the next year, they have down as 11, and we captured all 11 and took them the hell out of here. But think of this. Now we have thousands of terrorists coming into our country, unvetted and unchecked. We can't do this. We can't do this. So the snake is a very interesting old song that was played that I played around with, made it a little bit more apropos, but it's really true, the snake. It's take me in, O vicious woman, and it's really something. So she dies, we're gonna die, we're gonna have a lot of death because these people are just getting used to their surroundings. You know, they're getting used to it. This just started. When I say just started 3 years ago at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We have to have a safe country. We can't have a safe country when half of the worst terrorists in the world are let free into our country. And we're going to do something about it. And we're going to deport all of them, get them the hell out of here. Nothing good can happen. Nothing good is going to happen. And anybody that can be so stupid as to think that that's a good thing. And there's only 3 reasons it can be. They're stupid, which they're not, because anybody that can cheat at elections that well, they're not stupid. They hate our country, or they're trying to get those people to sign up and vote. And all 3 of them are not good. Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will rescue every town across America that has been invaded and conquered. And we will put, and that's true, think of the words, towns that have been invaded and conquered. They've been conquered. They've been conquered. And a lot of, it's not everybody's Aurora where they're talking about it. We have many towns that are in the same position and worse, but they don't want to talk about it. It's out of control. And we have a lot of towns that haven't yet been infected, but they're petrified that they will be, and they will be. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of the country so fast. To expedite removal of Trende, Aragua, and MS-13 gang members, the worst in the world. MS-13, you know about that. They come from South America, and they love knives, and they kill people with knives because it's more deadly than bullets. 2 young girls in Long Island walking down the street. A lot of them in Long Island, we got rid of almost all of them, but now they're coming back under this stupid, ridiculous group of people that we have in Washington. 2 beautiful 16-year-old girls are walking to school. MS-13 gang, during the early morning, grabbed them and sliced them up with a knife. They didn't want to use the bullet because it's too fast, and they sliced them up, both died. And we did numbers on those guys like you wouldn't believe. Nobody else would have done it. Nobody else would have done it. You have some people that think they should be protected. These are animals, and we have to deal with them accordingly, or we're not going to have a country left. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. Think of how far back. Think of how far back we have to go, because we have weak politicians that don't deal with these problems correctly. Like I did in Washington when they started ripping down our statues. They didn't get there. But I found an old act from the early 1900s that said, if you touch one of our beautiful monuments of Lincoln, Washington, any one of them, you get automatically 10 years in jail. And they were going a little wild. Do you remember? They were going a little bit wild. They were a little out of control. They had ropes around General Jackson. They had ropes around Abraham Lincoln. When they put the rope around Lincoln, I said, all right, let's go. Let's go. That's a step too far. It would have been everybody. And they didn't care one way or the other. They're mostly just troublemakers. They didn't know. They didn't even know it was Lincoln, frankly. But I enacted the act, and I had a little news conference. I said, from this moment forward, anybody that so much as touches one of our beautiful Washington monuments goes to jail for 10 years with no parole, no nothing. And it was a beautiful sight, because I looked out of the White House window and I saw thousands of people from the back. I watched all of those asses walking away from Washington, and they were gone. And we never heard from them again. It's an amazing thing. We never heard from them again, and that was the end of that. But we have to be strong. So I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target the migrant criminal network, and it is a bad one, operating on American soil. We will target them. We will hit them so hard. If you don't, you're not going to survive. This is an army. This is an army that they allowed into our country. An army. And if they come back into our country after being thrown out, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. We have no choice. We have no choice, because it's not sustainable by any country. It's not sustainable. I will end catch and release. I will end all migrant flights. Think of, I had a deal with Mexico. You think this was easy? Remain in Mexico. Nobody was allowed into our country. In Tijuana, this was the fastest growing city in the world. They had hundreds of thousands of people. They couldn't come into our country. I said, one person steps foot into our country without our approval. In other words, before we check them out, one person, we're going to put 100 and 200% tariffs on everything. And they said, sir, whatever you'd like. We would love to keep them. We would love to keep 500,000 people in Tijuana. And I will outlaw sanctuary cities immediately, and we will ban all welfare and federal benefits for illegal. We are running against the most radical and most incompetent, most unfit vice president in the history of our country. No one respects her. No one trusts her. You know, President Xi of China, they asked me, he's a friend of mine. I thought we were actually very close, but frankly, COVID, or as I call it, the China virus, was a step too far. But we had a very good relationship. Putin, all of them, I know all of them very well. No one takes her seriously. Somebody said, what kind of a man is President Xi of China? I said, he's a fierce man. There's nobody in Hollywood that could play the role of him. He's a fierce person. And she will be just, she'll be gobbled up. They are looking so forward to this. But we're not going to let it happen because we're killing them right now. We're beating them so badly, and we're going to keep it going. Just get out and vote. Just get out and vote. Don't take any chances. Don't take any chances. Get out and vote. But we're not only running against Kamala. She's really purely a vessel. When you watch her, she's only a vessel, and he's only a vessel, too. He was perfect for them. He didn't know where the hell he was. We're running against something far bigger than them, far more powerful than her, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. That's what we're running against. We're not running against her. She's got nothing to say. I know every player. But this is who we're really fighting. These are the people who are doing such tremendous harm to our country. With their open borders, record-setting inflation, Green New Scam deals, and everything else they're doing to our country. But we are not going to let it happen any longer. We are going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. And we are going to, very simply, make America great again. We're going to make it great again. Kamala Harris does not have the compassion, the intelligence, or the strength the presidency needs. I know what it needs. You meet some people. Among the worst that you're going to meet, though, are in our country. I call it the enemy from within. She can't do the job. She can't put two sentences together. She's an international joke. Every country is joking about how stupid our leadership is, from Biden to Kamala. They're a joke all over the world. She's going to end up getting us into World War III, just like he would if he stayed any longer. And on top of it all, she says she would not do one thing differently from crooked Joe Biden, which in itself is totally disqualifying. Take a look at this.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
U.S. inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities in Tren de Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating as criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
And then last night I watched and I just said, just cut out any part of it. You could cut anything you want. Just put it in. When you see this, go ahead, please.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes. And they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes. to in my role as vice president. I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that was really important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
So Nevada, if you want to end this disaster that we're going through, it's not even believable. You know, these foreign leaders are very, very streetwise, very smart people, and they're looking at what's going on in our country, and they really don't want me, but in a certain way they do want me, because the whole world, like Viktor Orban said, put Trump back in it, it'll all stop. We had no wars, we had nothing. They couldn't play games with us. They couldn't play games. So you must get out and vote. And you also have to fire your radical left senator, Jackie Rosen, who voted repeatedly for rampant inflation and open borders. And you have to elect a man who, by the way, has given up more to run for the United States Senate than any man in the history of the United States Senate, Sam Brown. Sam, where are you, sir? And you're doing very well, Sam. That man is a hero, and he has given up so much, and he deserves it. And she's another laughing stock back. She just votes 100% with whoever she's supposed to vote with. She's no good. She's no good for you. She's no good for this area of the world. Bad senator, not respected. We have somebody that's a very respected senator. Is Senator Marco Rubio here? Where is Senator Marco Rubio? Where is he? He's around here someplace, because we love him. There he is. Marco, thank you, Marco. Good man. We have Vivek Ramaswamy. By the way, this guy has a hell of a mouthpiece. Do you want to hear him for about 2 minutes? Can you keep it down to 2 minutes? Come on, let's go. Get up here, Vivek. What a mouthpiece on him. Oh, boy. He's like a machine gun. Come on up here, Vivek. All right. Now he's a great guy. Great future. Please.
I want you to give it up for the greatest president of the 21st century, standing right here, Donald J. Trump. We had a secure border, a growing economy. People were living prosperous lives with crime going down in this country. We were on the brink of war with North Korea. What happened? We had no major conflicts around the world when this man was our commander-in-chief. But I'll tell you this, as great as those 4 years were, the best we've had in my lifetime of any president who's led us, as great as 2016 to 2020 was, I promise you this, that second Trump term is going to be even greater. And by the time Donald Trump is leaving the White House, those signs you're holding aren't going to say, "Make America Great Again." We're just going to say, "Make America Greater." MAGA becomes MAG by the time he's done, and let's send him back to the White House. That's how we're going to save our country. President Trump, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. 2.5 years ago, I saw him on a show. I think it was Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're on Deface the Nation, Deface. And he was talking, and I said, "Who the hell is that guy?" And he did damn well. He did damn well. He ran, and he was incredible. And he's got a big future in this party, and we appreciate it, Vivek. So I alluded a little bit to her before, but a true racing legend, somebody that I've had a lot of respect for. She is really something special. She is a very talented person, and now she's doing incredibly since leaving racing. She probably still will always be a little bit in racing, but she's an incredible success story. Danica Patrick. Thank you, Danica. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you, Danica. Sean Merriman, the great football player. I look at this guy. Where is he? Where is that guy? I said, I don't want to get into a fight with him. Thank you very much, Sean. He looks like he could play right now. Cash Patel, where's Cash? Thank you, Cash. Thank you, Cash. Nevada GOP Chair Michael McDonald. Thank you, Michael. How are we doing, Michael? Good? Yeah, we're hearing good things. National Committee Woman Sigal Chattah. Thank you, Sigal. A beautiful family, by the way. Beautiful family. Thank you. And a special guy. He's incredible. Turning Point's Charlie Kirk and all of those people that came with him. He's special. He is a special talent. And he's out there fighting. He's out fighting for those registrations and the votes and making sure everything's honest. He's out there with a big army. And he's got all these very beautiful young people. He likes young people. And they are powerful. People have no idea how many young people there are that are conservatives in this country. People have no idea. An actress and an incredible fighter. I will not mess with her. Gina Carano. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. She's great. And a friend of mine, UFC champion, a man who you don't want to mess around with. He grew up in the streets of Miami at a young age, 9, and he was tougher than everybody else. He was tougher. And some rich guy from Miami saw this guy beating up everybody. He was 9 years old. At 12, they put him into a gym, and it continued. He beat the hell out of everyone. Danica, this is somebody you don't want to fight with. And then he became one of the best fighters in the world in the UFC with Dana White. Dana White's one of the great fighters, too, I'll tell you. Dana White. And this man has, I believe, still like 3 seconds, the quickest knockout and I was there for that fight. I think it was like 2.5 or 3 seconds. He pretended he was like bored. The bell's getting, he's like this. It's just like, I said, what's wrong with him? And then he was like a flash, boom. And he runs across the ring and jumped through the air and he hit the guy in the face with his knee. The whole thing he was out. And it's the fastest knockout in the history of the UFC. Jorge Masvidal, where is he? Where is he? This guy. I'm not gonna fight him. I refuse to fight him. He's mean. And he's stone cold mean. But to me, he's nice. To me, he's nice. He's great. Thank you very much. And he's helped us so much with the Hispanic vote. I won Miami. Can you believe it? No Republican wins Miami. I won Miami because they love that guy. Right? He's a great fighter, a great champion. So here are the final facts in conclusion on Kamala Harris. She's a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas herself. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. And anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as non-violent crimes. She pledged to confiscate everybody's gun. Anybody that has a gun, your gun will be she made this pledge. This is where she is, by the way. People don't change. Confiscate your gun, endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. Think of that. You're an illegal alien and you're in detention and you call for a sex change operation and she feels you have an obligation to do it. This is not going to be the president of our country. All a taxpayer expense. And then, as you probably saw a few days ago, we had a little interesting visit to McDonald's, right? That turned out to be a big deal. I got a call from a great guy, the head of Google. He said, this is one of the hottest things. We have never seen anything like this. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. It was crazy. But you know why I did that? I went there you never know how something's going to turn out, right? You know, you go, I say, oh, I don't know, should we be doing this? This is a little hokey, should we? But I did it to just highlight the fact that for years, she said, I worked at McDonald's. I was over the French fry bin. I made French fries. The heat was so incredible, I had to do it. There was only one problem. She never worked at McDonald's. It was a lie. So I ended up going there for about 15 minutes, and it became quite I'll tell you what, we had 29,000 people surrounding it. We weren't sure if we were going to even be able to get out. We didn't know. That was quite the visit. But that was to highlight the fact. So I was there, let's say, for 15 minutes. That means I worked at McDonald's for 15 minutes more than Kamala. But you know what it shows? That she's a liar. And she's still saying, yeah, I sort of worked there, but now, you know, everyone's gone. McDonald's tends to keep good records. We said, let's see your tax records. She didn't have any. Let's see anything. Give us anything. They had nobody. Then we went to the manager. He's been there a long time. No, she never worked here. She's a liar. And on top of all this, Kamala turned and wants to turn our military woke. Take a look at this. Take a look at this.
You little scumbag! I got your name. I got your ass! You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month. And actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
So you're a killer. Sir, yes, sir. Let me see your war face. Sir, you got a war face? Ah! That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. Ah! Bullshit. You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face. Ah! You will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war. But until that day, you are huge. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking being. You are nothing but unorganized, grab-asking pieces of amphibian shit.
Abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers, so wait out.
That must be like the best part of you were down, cracking your mama's ass, and ended up with the round, staying on the ground for it. I love working for Uncle Sam. I love working for Uncle Sam. Let me know just who I am. Let me know just who I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps.
Jorge, we won 2 world wars. Now we're a little different, but you know what the truth is? We defeated ISIS 100% in record time. We have a great military. It's only those stiffs at top, like Milley and Mattis and these characters that are on television. They're a bunch of stiffs. Kelly, real stiffs. But we have great generals. We defeated ISIS in record time. They thought it was going to take 5 years. When I came in, we did it in a matter of weeks. So, like you fight, Jorge, just like you fight. That's the way we fight. And those guys are never going woke. You could put them in a woke cage for 2 years and open the door and they'll come out fighting. They'll come out. Our military is great. And they proved that with ISIS. Once they had somebody that knew what they were doing, they proved it. Nobody has a better military. I rebuilt the entire U.S. military. Unfortunately, we gave a lot of it, but still not very much, relatively. But we gave a lot of it to Afghanistan. What a mistake. What a bunch of dopes. Remember this. They took the military out first. No, you take the military out last. So stupid, so sad. 15, you take a look at what happened. 13 people died, great people. I got to know a lot of the parents and the family members are great people. And they are devastated, and especially because it should have never happened. We gave up billions of dollars of equipment. We left American soldiers behind. And we left Bagram, the air base, the great air base, one of the greatest in the world. And you know who occupies it now? I was keeping it. China occupies it now. 1 hour away from China. Forget about Afghanistan. 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons, and we gave it up like nothing. Cost billions of dollars many years ago. In conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala, and we are going to save America. With your support, we will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Nevada. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine very quickly. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III 100%. You're not going to have World War III. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a massive missile defense shield around our country, all made in the USA. A lot of it will be made in Nevada. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And I will put a bill before Congress that anybody burning our American flag goes to jail for 1 year automatically. And you saw that happen 3 months ago in Washington when they had riots and they were burning our American flag all over the place. And they were putting spray paint all over the beautiful lions as the entrance to one of our most beautiful buildings. And you know, it's limestone. Limestone's a very porous stone. I was very good at this. You'll never get that limestone. You'll see that in 100 years, those scars that they put on the limestone. Because it goes right into that paint. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. And they weren't arrested. Nothing happened to them. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. That's what's going to happen. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. And the American dream is going to come back. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. Early voting is underway, and everyone get out of here and start voting. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. There will be great years. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together, we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you, Nevada. God bless you. God bless you all.
And everybody, we got a show to do. We have a show to do. I am so glad what President Trump has done. Yeah, he's walking off the stage. Yep, that's it. That's it for tonight. Well, no, that's it for that program. All right, we got a show to do, and I got to get a new chair. I'll be honest, most likely, I'm going to start members-only chat. Most likely, I'm going to start doing some of those members-only chats. But we still got a show to do. So, let's get started. If you got to use the bathroom, go run, use the bathroom, get you something to eat, so that way we can get started. That way I got it so everybody can run, go get something to eat, and get started. Shane said I need some WD-40 for this chair. God, Shane, you ain't right. Shane, you is, brother, Mr. Shane, you are not right. Shane said, my chair needs old. Shane is not right. Shane is not right. Oh, let me get these two videos real quick. I got to get this video right here. I got to get this video. I got to get it. I got to get this video. All right, making sure everything is okay. How do I come? How do I come? Bam. Right, there we go. Well, there go Miss Tracy. All right, make sure we show her some love. And Shane, show him love. Let's get to the show early. We got enough. 12:06. We'll knock off at about 12:30. Go to, no, not 12:30, 1:30. We'll go to Rumble at 1 o'clock. All right, ready, set, let's roll. And hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you had a chance to run, use the bathroom, get yourself something to drink, because we still got a show to do. All right, first of all, let me thank Shane for his blessing to the page. Let me thank Brother Shane for his blessing to the page. I also would like to thank Miss Tracy Chandler. Miss Tracy Chandler, thank you for your kindness and generosity and donation to the page. Through Cash App. I want to thank Miss Tracy Chandler for her kindness and generosity to the page through Cash App. Now, I want to show you tonight's poll, and I want you guys to be honest. Tonight's poll, look at tonight's poll. How are you feeling 11 days out? Look at the poll. How are you feeling 11 days out? Confident? Worried the Democrats will cheat? Confident with a hint of worry? And of course, praying. There go tonight's poll. If you see tonight's poll, you can participate. Just go to themindofjamal.com, themindofjamal.com, and there you go. You'll see that beautiful picture of me. And there you go. Hopefully you guys will go and check the page and participate in the poll. Hopefully you guys will come and participate in the poll because it matters. All right. Last night, Kamala Harris, by Democrats' own standards, was an absolute mess. She was an absolute mess. They saw her and they saw some woman that was an absolute mess. And now people are saying, why did you change Joe Biden out? Why? You knew this. You had people who are donors now who they're saying donors are getting mad. Well, what do you expect when the woman didn't even make it to Christmas in the Democrat primary? Tulsi Gabbard ended her whole presidential campaign, exposing her of her fraud. The more people hear Kamala Harris talk, the more they hate her. That's why the last few days is nothing but mudslinging. He's Hitler. Oh, this one coming out. Oh, this and this. All this is coming out because they can't beat Donald Trump fairly. And one thing about people, when you push them and you try to besmirch who they are, they will tell you, I'm good. I want y'all to watch this brief exchange of Kamala Harris, Anderson Cooper, and Charlemagne the God. People are mad at Anderson Cooper because one time he accidentally did some journalism and he called people out. He said, I'm not MSNBC. So in other words, he knows that MSNBC is a Democrat shield. He knows that. This man knows that. And he called it out. Hey, I'm not a paid shield for Democrats. So what are you saying all this time?
I think that's why it had a reaction. Donald Trump, he, for whatever you think about him, if you like him, if you hate him, he is certainly who he is. He's shown us who he is every single day.
Yeah, which is a fascist. And it's crazy because you still don't have news networks having that conversation. Yeah. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions Kamala Harris's blackness or is he a DEI hire, y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking, is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually, not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion?
Wrong video. That's for something deeper. That's the wrong video. Here it goes. It looks like the same. One, I use the black conservative perspective.
This country where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I was looking up some comments about my grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
and I'm like,
your job.
you misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, and no disrespect, what they do is, they're very talented. But I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid blow-dried anchors think, and I include myself in that overpaid blow-dried, although I don't blow-dry. I am overpaid. But I don't want. I'm not interested in the anchor's opinion. Apparently Trump's is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares.
And
like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Well, I mean, I think you give damn who's elected president, and
yeah,
I'm asking
if that president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Yeah. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people.
Well, we talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been talking about this every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours. Okay. But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black, like
I've seen that. I've seen those roundtable discussions a lot. Now that's bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
Oh, I'm not saying you. I said the network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had
we have
had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something, but I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
Then you need to not have Charlemagne the God. What I want you to know is watching CNN beg and plead for people to forgive them because Kamala Harris failed. So since Kamala Harris failed, it must be the white boy. Everybody want Kamala Harris raised in the White House and swept in on that side. They cannot deal with she is an absolute failure.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president. But it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions.
Right there, Anderson Cooper just told you he is anti-Trump, he hates Trump, and he's trying to destroy Trump. Basically, what this take is, I do all I can to destroy Trump, and it still ain't good enough for you niggas. I want you to realize what this conversation is. I do all I can to stop Trump, And it still ain't good enough for you niggas.
Any Trump supporters out there.
Biden, now with Kamala, we talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I mean, I don't know what you've been watching, but like, I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people.
I don't know what you've been watching. I don't know what you've been watching. I try my best to destroy Donald Trump every night, and it still ain't good enough for you complaining niggas. Dang. Every time I turn around, you niggas ain't never happy.
Who, like him, who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, you know, to be validated in their opinions. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't think it's about validating. What you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying like that we're not, that I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out.
On networks like CNN every day.
This country where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I was looking up some comments about my Grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
and I'm like,
your job.
You misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, or and no disrespect, what they do is, they're very talented. But I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid blow-dried anchors think. And I include myself in that overpaid blow-dried, although I don't blow-dry. I am overpaid. But I'm not interested in the anchor's opinion. I'm interested in facts and letting the viewers make up their own mind. So anyway, I'm sorry this devolved into something else, but this is fascinating.
All right, guys. So we got to talk B. Trump and God from
get the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares.
And
like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Anderson Cooper is trying to have an actual real political discussion about whether or not Kamala Harris should go on Joe Rogan.
Now, that's just last night. And while President Trump was up speaking, I was busy downloading. I got y'all just don't know. Behind the scenes, I got so much going on. I'm always looking at stuff behind the scenes. And I start seeing the quote-unquote blowback for him. And I say, I want y'all to realize how evil and what's going on. It's still not good enough. And I'll be honest. I would have said that. You mean to tell me I sit here and I do all I can to destroy Trump and it still ain't good enough for you niggas? That's basically what it is. And he realized because Kamala Harris is an absolute disaster. She is a disaster. This is what CNN said about her last night. That people like Charlamagne the God, Alexander Wright, people who want her to win because she's a female. People who want her to win because she's black. You know, if Donald Trump wins, I hope we go back to candidates who win the election because they're the best candidate for the job. And I'm going to say this. There is no unifying with Democrats. I keep saying that. There's no unifying with these people. You cannot sling the mud you have slung and expect things to change. But you know what they expect? Democrats expect to throw this at Republicans. And they say, well, aren't you supposed to be Christian? Forgive me, bro. Look, it was politics. I got emotional. Forgive me. I always tell people, I want y'all to remember this. If you ever remember anything what I say, remember this. Remember this. what Democrats do and say during an election, ladies, it's like your husband going out, cheating, and bringing back herpes, and bringing you back herpes. Guys, same thing. If your girlfriend went out and cheated on you and brought you back herpes and said, listen, forgive me, it happened, I was wrong, would you still be willing to forgive her and act like it's nothing? Well, that's the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is supposed to be, quote unquote, we're supposed to be fellow Americans. They're just like that. They have given you herpes. They have given you a bad case of herpes. And they expect you to accept it.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city. And she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
She doesn't have to be flawless, but she has to give you something. I mean, she's like a true double threat. You know, she's terrible on her feet when she gets unexpected questions. And simultaneously, she can't even answer the expected questions. It's nothing, nothing, nothing. You'd think she'd be prepared to do this by now. You know, what's a mistake you've made? Nothing. What's a weakness you have? Nothing. What's the first law you want to pass? Nothing. What's a policy difference between you and Joe Biden? Nothing. Over and over and over. Empty, empty, empty. If she were an animal, she'd be a duck-billed platitude. But look, it's a total word salad.
Focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do as president. But she did go into some of her plans for small businesses.
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in. And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more, but what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one, there wasn't one.
I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary.
Kamala Harris participated in a one-person debate last night, and she lost. Okay, she was asked direct questions, and she provided very circular answers. My colleagues Van Jones and David Axelrod and others noted that, you know, she provided word salad answers. And, you know, Anderson would ask her specifically direct questions, and she didn't provide an answer to them. When asked, Anderson asked the best question all night. Why didn't you do this 4 years ago? Why haven't you been doing this? 10-minute answer, didn't answer the question. So what she did last night, I don't think helped her cause at all. I think people were looking for, you know, how are you going to, you heard the one woman, how are you going to make my life better? That wasn't provided. Donald Trump bad is not going to get you to the White House. I hate to break it to her. All right. Americans would take another hour of Kamala Harris. We'd just press play, let her keep going. We'd pay for another hour to let her keep non-answering the questions. I think Anderson's asking her, well, why haven't you done it? You've been there for 4 years. Why haven't you done any of this? And the word salad answer she gave to that was just mind-boggling. I mean, it's blown up the internet, her answer to that question. I think the things that are troubling for people were her responses to, you know, Van said about what you're going to do to reduce costs when they asked her at the beginning. You know, we're hurting economically. She said, I'm going to prosecute corporations. Right? That's not going to lower costs. How are you going to make things better for me? I'm going to prosecute people. Trump bad is not a message that's going to get her elected. Trump bad message. I disagree with.
Now, we need to be realistic, okay? Trump bad is a message that'll get her elected. Okay? Let's be realistic, people. I got to buy me a new chair. My chair is broke. I tried to fix it, but the chair is broke. That is the biggest lie that you can ever say, that oh, Donald Trump bad is not a message that'll resonate. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why we have to be on our guard and make sure we push back. Donald Trump bad is a message that works. Donald Trump bad is a message that works. They're telling people Donald Trump is trying to kill them. Do you know Mika Brzezinski done sat up here and said Donald Trump is trying to kill women? These people, the last 11 days, they are doing everything they can to sit out and bring the most radical stuff they can. Democrats don't care if they tear the nation apart. So why are we trying to fix what they have broken? Like I said, if you tired, you sleepy, go to bed and just watch the rest of it tomorrow. For all those, because I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of, I'm going to do a real revamp of my page. I'm going to really do a real revamp of the page, the comments and stuff that are made because it's too distracting to others. And this message is for some of you. If you are a moderator, if you're one of the moderators, my moderators tell me if something's wrong, especially Shane Terry, especially Miss Yvette Spillman, especially Mr. Larson. Joy R is my friend on regular Facebook. Joy R, if you are on Rumble, so you guys will know, Joy R is actually my friend on Facebook. She see the pictures of my family, everything. So is Shane and a couple more people, Mr. Larson, Miss Yvette. So I'm actually hearing if something goes wrong. I'm getting too many complaints. I look in my comment section, there's always somebody, and it's specific ones of you who complain. Why ain't he playing this? Why ain't he doing that? Why? You know what? And you don't contribute nothing. You complain and don't contribute. So I'm going to revamp a lot of things. Because people shouldn't come to my page and see the same people sitting up here complaining about this ain't right, this ain't right, this ain't right, this ain't right, this ain't right. It's to the point now, okay. And I'm going to have a talk with Shane, Miss Yvette, and Mr. Larson. Because we actually got a side page on YouTube, on Facebook, where we talk and I listen to them. But yeah, I'm getting too many people emailing me saying, man, I will participate. Man, I read your messages, and too many people complaining. It really won't that bad. This ain't that bad. Why are they always complaining? Why are they? It's getting to the point now. People are really not liking what they're saying. People really are not liking what's going on. And if anyone says to me that somebody said this, or this is what this means, and I ask you for evidence, okay, where is this said at? Show me the quote. And you bring me another podcast or somebody else's opinion, no offense, but I got certain people I listen to and I believe, and I still fact check them. Steve Crowder's one. He presents his evidence. Black Conservative Perspective. He presents his evidence. ABL. Anthony Brian Logan presents his evidence. You notice you haven't seen anything from redacted from me in a long time. You haven't seen anything from redacted from me in a long time. You haven't seen me play a redacted video. Why? Because they said some things that when you really looked into it was wrong. So I'm being honest. I'm pushing a lot of this stuff away because it's hindering my page. Yeah, Miss Joy R is awesome. Miss Joy R is awesome. She really is. She really is. Because that be unburdened comment, like I said, to be unburdened by the past, you can achieve the be unburdened. Black preachers were saying that back in the early 1900s when it came to civil rights. Like everything else, she stole. Now, if Mao Zedong said it or hinted, no, he didn't. He said something close to it. Yeah, okay. But I got to get this page back under control because I'm being stagnant. And when I got people who are looking at me saying, hey, Jamal, this is distracting. This is really bad. You really need to pay attention to it. And what I do is I look for about 2 weeks and see. I write stuff down and I see. But yes, I'm serious. No more of that.
Bill, I was disappointed. What I can't understand is at a moment in which you're supposed to be laser focused serious with 12 days left in a campaign, and you get asked a question from an audience member that says, what's the first thing you would want to do? What's the first piece of legislation you'd want to pass? If you can't come right away, but we want to pass a border security bill, we want a new tax bill that empowers first-time homeowners and small business owners, and we want to review and overhaul regulatory processes to make sure we're not limiting or inhibiting growth in America. It begs the question in some ways, what is your campaign doing with you? What are you guys talking about? What are you taking a day off to prepare for if you can't say those things? And then say the fourth thing, we'd restore Roe v. Wade. The centerpieces of your campaign, even if you don't believe they're popular with independents or swing voters, Bill, if you're not saying those things, it's mind-boggling. As I listened to David last night, Axe last night on CNN, I did some of the switching too. I kept us on, but I did a switch on one or two other TVs. And it's confounding in some ways.
I think that clip illustrates exactly why Harris is in trouble at this point. And it's something that I don't understand why the campaign does not address. They asked her specifically, where do you stand on the wall? And what does she do? She goes and shifts it right to Donald Trump. Immediately mentions him twice within the first 5 seconds. She still hasn't closed the deal. She still hasn't said to people exactly what she would do. In fact, what she should have done in the opening of that town hall is said, I want to tell you what I'm going to do in the first hour, in the first day, and in the first week. And it's going to take me 5 minutes. So, Anderson, you're going to have to sit tight. Here's what we're going to do by 1 p.m. She didn't do any of that. She hasn't told the public step by step what she's about.
Let me ask you. You know, it strikes me what's interesting about the moment we're in right now is that we in the media are treating Vice President Harris like we treat a normal politician, and we're critiquing her answers, and we're talking about, well, she could have said this differently, she could have said that differently. Meanwhile, the Republican nominee literally is talking about liberals being the enemy within, talking about using the military to go after these people. His defenders say, oh, no, he's talking about going after illegal immigrants, or he's going after mobs in the street. And Trump will say, no, I mean going after the Pelosi's, going after Adam Schiff, going after Democrats. And these campaigns are in two different universes.
Yep. Is she being held to a different standard? Does she have to have all the answers perfectly done, and he gets to walk around bloviating from his
absolutely
bone-headed self?
She is being held to a different standard. She has to be perfect, while he has been the most imperfect candidate that we have ever seen for presidency in our lifetimes. That is
what people don't understand, and what they don't understand. They created this monster. They created this monster because you know what? People got tired of seeing them lie. People get tired of seeing them lie. They have lied, and lied, and people are like, no, we're tired of you. Some people believe the Hitler stuff in 2016. Some people said they believe, oh, he ain't right in 2020. And now they're like, you know what? We tired of y'all. Y'all just lie. You don't like the man. You can't beat the man. So you have to lie about the man. And people are just tired of it. People are tired of it. And Ed, you won't the only one. Just real quick, Ed, you won't the only one. I accept your apology, but Ed, you won't the only one. Nope, you won't. Trust me, Ed. One person does it, okay. I can go back and forth with that person. But when people send me emails saying you should have listened to him, he knew what he was talking about, and stuff like that, and coming at me that way, Ed, your email didn't do it. Your email didn't make me say, whoa, what the heck is going on? Whoa, this is the mind of Jamal. So, Ed, it won't you. I appreciate the apology, but Ed, it won't you. At least you did send me the video so I can make my own decision. And I thank you for that. And let me say this real quick. And I got to say something when people do stuff. When Ed Reynolds disagree with me about something and me and him go back and forth, Ed Reynolds have enough respect for me to send me the email with the link where he got his idea from or where his stance is from. Ed will do that. Some will sit here and say, I need to listen. And that's all you say. No, you don't. So I appreciate Ed. Ed, I appreciate you. At least, Ed, you got enough respect to take time to send me the email. Show me where you got it from so I know that it's not something you made up or what you believe. You saying, hey, Jamal, this where this comes from. That's why you're a moderator, Ed. That is why you are a moderator. Because I can deal with someone who says, hey, this is where I got it from. But these people are mad that the whole picture that they painted of Kamala Harris, she can't uphold it. You know, when you put somebody on a pedestal and they keep jumping off it, that's your problem, not them. Let me say it again. When you continue to put someone on a pedestal that they themselves jump off, that's on you. And yes, I know sometimes I can play a lot of videos in a night. I can play video after video after video. I know that because I'm like, hey, these videos mean a lot. But I also know I can go talk and explain stuff without. I just don't want nobody to say this is just all coming out of the mind. I want you to see, but I want y'all to finish listening to how The View can't accept that people are seeing Kamala Harris as a fraud, and please donate to the page.
Walk around bloviating from his
absolutely
bone-headed self?
She is being held to a different standard. She has to be perfect, while he has been the most imperfect candidate that we have ever seen for presidency in our lifetimes. That is just a fact. That is a fact. And
well, first of all, he doesn't even have to.
I want to show you something. It's my shocked face.
Insane. That's the bar at this point. She has to appear presidential and everything you just
We'd
said.
have to prepare for that.
He would. He'd have to like really work on being sane, because he's.
Smell that is. You changing diapers?
He seems insane, and he doesn't show up for anything. He didn't show up for a debate. He doesn't show up for a town hall. Does he have bone spurs again, do you think? I mean, I'm wondering.
Possible.
So, no, he...
Right.
Imagine if Kamala didn't show up. Imagine if she said the things that he said.
You mean like she didn't show up to the Fox News debate? Like when she was supposed to debate Donald Trump September the 4th? September the 4th, 2024, Kamala Harris backs out. Let's see what good old Google say. Let's see what good old Google says. USA Today. Kamala Harris backed out of September 4th debate. False. This is why I don't quote from them. And look, they made sure. Look at this. Trump says Kamala Harris will not participate. She didn't. Did she back out? Yep. She did not she backed out. She would not. Now, once again, did Kamala Harris debate President Trump on the agreed debate that him and Joe Biden had for Fox News? He did not. Donald Trump did a town hall that night. See, the thing is, they are hypocrites and can't get their own lies straight. They're hypocrites that can't get their own lies straight.
The name calling.
Look, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are not taking the same exam.
Yeah.
And I think it bothers people. They're not taking the same exam. He gets to be lawless. She has to be flawless. That's what's unfair. That's what's unfair. That's what's unfair tonight. That's what's unfair tonight. They're not taking the same exam. Look, she has policies. She may not articulate them perfectly every time. She may not put the stories in the right places, but she's fighting for actual ideas that will help real people. And he's talking about people's penises. And so they are not taking the same exam, and that's pissing people off. It's pissing me off.
Well, and I'm also old enough to remember that if your fiscal plans were actually said to bankrupt the Social Security Trust Fund in sooner years, Donald Trump's, that would be a campaign destroying issue. But we just gloss over things with Donald Trump.
Yeah. So what you just heard.
They're trying to say that the media isn't hard enough on Donald Trump. So what they're about to try to do, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Prepare for the media to do everything they can to get Joe Biden elected. Prepare for them to do everything they can. They're about to lie, cheat, and do everything for Joe Biden to win. The media just got their marching orders. oh, we treat Kamala Harris, we expect her to be perfect. What they are literally doing is trying to sink Donald Trump campaign. And what Donald Trump needs to do, Donald Trump doesn't have any energy. Yes, he does. Donald Trump, he was supposed to be here at CNN for a debate. Where is he at? He was in Georgia with the rally so big it looks like a pure rock concert. While Kamala Harris is breaking out Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, Eminem, how many of these people she has to have at her rallies? But nobody talks about the people and superstars who support President Trump. Nobody talk about the rappers who support President Trump. Nobody talk about the actors and actresses who support President Trump. The media thought they was going to get Kamala Harris elected, but she opened up her mouth. And when she opened up her mouth, she sunk her own presidency. Because the media fawned over her. You couldn't call her Kamala. All the people that's done call her Kamala Harris, now you can't call her Kamala Harris. Oh, that's Shane. What's going on? Oh, super chat. Okay. Road rash. I would like to thank Miss Elaine Road Rash. Let me go to the page. I would like to thank Miss Elaine. Ed Reynolds is my fellow weirdo from New Jersey. Well, your fellow weirdo from New Jersey. I thank you for the blessing to the page that you gave Miss Elaine. Thank you for the blessing to the page. Thank you, Miss Elaine, for that blessing. Hey, Sister Trish, how are you doing? Want to thank Sister Trish. Thank you for showing up. Sister Trish McCanny, how are you doing? Is your vacation over, Sister Tish? Are you back home, or are you still on vacation soaking up the waves, getting you a good nap? This is where President Trump was at last night. That's where Donald Trump was at last night. That is where Donald Trump was at last night. That's a big that looks like he had a pretty big rally. So what they are trying their best to do is do everything they can to try to regain the euphoria they put behind Kamala Harris' first days. Let me say that again. What they are attempting to do is try to force the people to get behind Kamala Harris like they did. And the media is about to crank it up fully to try to just Donald Trump is Hitler. Donald Trump is Hitler. So what they're going to do, you're going to see less of Scott Jennings. This is what this is what the media machine is about to do. They're going to have Republicans like Liz Cheney and Kissinger when they talk about Trump. They're not going to have Republicans who will defend Donald Trump. All of them are about to go. I just want people to realize, if you don't like to hear me talk about common sense press control, give me an alternative. Because what we are about to witness for the next 2 weeks, coming from CNN, MSNBC, CBS, is everything negative about Trump. They about to show you, and the media don't care. They have shown you 81% of all coverage about Trump after Joe Biden dropped out was negative. 81%. It's about to be 100%. That's why Republicans need to get out and vote. Because the next 11 days, we about to really fight. It's about to really, really get crucial.
Well, we are just 12 days away from the 2024 presidential election, and a new national poll has former President Donald Trump now ahead of Vice President Kamala Harris. Not by a lot, but ahead. The Wall Street Journal poll shows Trump with a 2-point lead over Harris. That is still within the margin of error. So again, it's tight. And with the race so close, we know that date's going to be here before we know it. Both candidates trying to get their message to voters, what you've heard me call their closing argument. Vice President Harris had a huge opportunity last night. And you heard Mr. Wonderful, Kevin on the couch, saying that she potentially missed at least some of her opportunity last night during CNN's town hall. But even CNN's own panel says she came up a bit short.
She focused a lot more on Donald Trump, I think it's fair to say, than she did on many specifics in terms of what she would do as president.
I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. The question about her legislative priorities, name one. There wasn't one.
The thing I think that kind of got her tripped up at certain times was when certain voters were asking to drill down actually on some policy, and she didn't want to go there.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city, and she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary. There are flashes of the person that I know, and then some other stuff, it got lost in the sauce.
Well, I tell you, David Axelrod put some stuff on people's minds. I mean, he's a smart analyst. We know that from his background. But Kaylee, the idea that Kamala Harris is word salading us it sounds from him that it's on purpose. I know it's now a verb.
It's a verb. I know that's right. ING.
I do not understand it. Look, she had a fine debate against Donald Trump with 2 moderators who were very much on her side, right? That's not an easy environment, and she excelled in it. But it just defies my mind. Like, why can't she just answer a question? Last night, Anderson Cooper looked at her and just said, What's a mistake you made in life? And what did you learn from it? Now, look, I admittedly get nervous when Greg Gutfeld does the fastest on the 5 and he'll ask me a question. If you were asking, I'm like, I got to come up with something on the fly. But, like, you can do it, especially on an easy question. Like, tell us about a mistake. Like, come on, you made a mistake somewhere. She could not answer the question. And when CNN, David Axelrod is criticizing you, and Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, you've lost the plot when you've lost CNN, and then you have no major game change moments next. Where's your next game changer moment? Your speech on the ellipse where you're going to talk about January 6th? Good luck.
Wow. Kevin.
You know, imagine my dilemma. I'm an investor. I have to work with government no matter what happens on the 5th. I want her to be a successful president if she wins. I support entrepreneurship, and that is a nonpartisan issue. You know, it's bipartisan in every way. What I would like to do, and I know, I mean, this is probably going to fall on deaf ears, but there's a bunch of things in her policy that I would like to talk to her about. I want to interview her because we've moved away from the things that matter towards maintaining the American dream, which is the only job the president has. The real job of the President of the United States is to maintain our #1 export, which is the American dream. And that encompasses all aspects of government, defense, including immigration. But think about the discussions we had about raising corporate tax rate to 28%. We're not talking about that anymore. That takes America down to the bottom quartile.
Why do you think she's not talking about it anymore?
Well, because I'm not interviewing her. I mean, somebody else has let her getting away with a bunch of stuff here. I want to talk about price gouging in an industry of grocery where margins are 3.5%.
How she's going to do that without pressuring companies.
There is no way she can deliver on the 3 million homes because this is zoning state by state. It's not a federal mandate. And she should take my interview because it'll help her. It'll help her be able to communicate.
Have you offered?
No, I'm doing it right now.
Okay, well,
I want you to realize she's a failure. Do America needs a female president? All right. Good night, Johnny Reb. And oh yeah, I would like to welcome Miss Joy RR. She is the newest moderator on Rumble. Want to thank Miss Joy RR. There she goes. She is the new moderator on Rumble. I want to thank Miss Joy RR. She is the new moderator on Rumble. If y'all can, give her a little shout out. Give us some hands or a siren or just let her know. Miss Joy RR, we thank you and welcome her as a new moderator.
we know they watch. It's the #1 show in daytime on cable. Emily.
Yeah,
Now, here is my thing. When people say, Jamal, you think America's ready for a female president? We should be ready for a good president. If the thing y'all want selling is female president, we need a female. If that wasn't the only thing, that's all y'all ever sell is female president. That's it. That's what you guys sell, female president. That's all y'all sell. How about you sell what she's good at? The reason why Margaret Thatcher became England's prime minister, because she didn't throw she was a woman around. If you want a female president in the United States, let it be somebody who ain't throwing that around. How about you say I'm the presidential candidate? Because if you look at Kamala Harris's rallies, they look like old, big, fat women and lesbian women. Her rallies look like soy boy men with lesbian women.
To take that ball a few yards further, I think, frankly, she doesn't have the intellectual capability to keep up. And what I see in her is an influence clearly by academic bubbles, people in academic bubbles that have no real world experience. First of all, we know that she is continuing to plagiarize. We haven't even brought this up yet, but just to hammer home that a sitting vice president who has made her way through the ranks of senator, attorney general, DA, these things she touts, is still using plagiarized language from other people's work. She is still failing to, again, draw from experience in these roles because there is none. Because what she simply does, I see, is parrot what someone tells her, what some academic conceptual person tells her without real world experience. She's never made a overhead. She's never made payment. I mean, there are things in the real world, the instant that you are in the real world and earn your own money, that you know. So even the policies the other day, remember when she said she was going to blatantly be unconstitutional with the forgiveness of certain loans and only helping black males. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a joke that someone of the caliber of her office truly fails to understand the law or the real world whatsoever.
And speaking of that, even last night when she was asked about, taking actions on issues, she delivered an answer about, I'm going to maybe not be immediate. I'm going to have to study this. I'm going to look at it more. And she has been the vice president. She's been a senator. She's been a district attorney. She's been an attorney general. And you know the issues you're supposed to. But I'll remind everyone that they were relying on slogans. At first, it was Brat. She had the Brat campaign. Remember that? And then
wow, that feels
Joy.
like years ago.
That was years ago. Happy Warrior.
July.
Now it's turning the page. Slogans don't put food on the table. And I think that when you're looking at the nature of the argument about, she just still only talks about Trump. From the start, she has. He is defined. They've done it. And Americans love him anyway. We love him anyway. We're not denying anything. We're not pretending. We love him anyway.
Or how about Americans like myself? How about Americans like myself just don't believe you what you say about Donald Trump? How about that? A woman, someone like myself who don't believe you. How about that? I don't believe what you say about Donald Trump. I clearly don't. I don't believe you. I think you're lying. Can we say that? I think you're lying about Donald Trump. I think you're lying. I think you're lying. Simple and plain.
He now needed her to do something else in that regard. And I think that most Americans thought, if you're the nominee, you've been vetted as a serious person. They learned that that's no longer the case when it comes to what the Democrats have done.
Well, she wasn't the nominee. She was a person they put in place of the nominee. So that speaks, so much about why people don't feel like they know her as well. I hope you get your interview. It'll be tough, and we'll finally get to learn something. I hope it can happen before November 5th.
I would help her. I would help her. I want her to be successful.
I know you want to help her, but if it's Donald Trump, you can do business with him, too.
I already know him.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host.
That's what you get. All right, everyone. It is time to run over to Rumble. I got a couple videos we want to discuss and talk about on Rumble. J.D. Vance replied to General Kelly. I really got a bunch of stuff I want to get to. I really do. I really do. So let's go on and get out. For those who are online, Jamal, we tired. Okay, well, we got 15 more minutes. 15 more minutes is all we got. I'm going to be off by 1:30, okay? I'm going to be off by 1:30. And being that it is so late, Heavenly Father, we come unto you to pray. First and foremost, Lord Jesus, I ask you the forgiveness of my sin and iniquity. Lord Jesus, I ask you to forgive me of my sin and all my iniquities. Lord Jesus, for those under the sound of my voice, we ask for forgiveness of sin and iniquity, Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus, we pray right now for America. We pray that you become the head of households again. Lord Jesus, as generations move forward, it is written in scriptures that many forsake you because they are not keeping to the God of their forefathers and ancestors that you brought them out of Egypt. Lord Jesus, look at America. We do not act like you brought us through our Revolutionary War, our Civil War, World War II, and how close we were to losing. We don't act like that, like we're grateful for you. Lord Jesus, we ask for forgiveness. For the husband that's watching me right now, I pray for the safety, security of his wife and children. For the wife that's watching me right now, I pray for the safety, security of her husband and children. For the grandparents that's watching me right now, I pray for the safety, security of their grandchildren and children. I pray right now for those in the military, law enforcement, first responders. I pray for those who are truck drivers and bus drivers. And I pray right now for those who are sick in hospitals. I pray that you touch their bodies and heal them, Lord. For those who have passed, I pray right now that you comfort the family. Last and not least, I pray for my own wife and children. Please, Lord, protect my wife as she travels down those dangerous highways and byways. Please, Lord, protect my children as they go to school. Protect them from danger seen and unseen. Lord Jesus, I ask you to please protect my family. As for me, open a door no man can close. For it is the precious name of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for he is truly God Almighty. Let everyone say, amen. Now, please, it is time to go over to Rumble. I got 111. To everybody who's going to bed, good night. I thank you all for coming over. But for everybody else, good night. See you tomorrow. We may not do Friday night call in. I may not allow y'all to call in. I may present shows because I have to get, like I said, I ask y'all to donate and stuff for specific reasons. Because during this Biden economy, things are horrible. And some things have gone up. But I will do a show tomorrow. It may not be call in because not a lot of people call in. I'm noticing that. It's 3, maybe 4 of the same people. Missy Lane, David, Rapper 10,000. Who else calls in? Sometimes in Mr. Law, it's not really enough people to call in to maintain that. I'll be honest. So I may do it call in. I may not. But if I do, you guys will know. You'll see the phone number inside the thing. But hey, like I said, gotta think before I move. God bless you all. See you on Rumble. For those who are saying good night, good night. Before I go, let me show y'all the poll results. 43% of you are worried the Democrats are cheat. Confident with a hint of worry, 31%. 18% praying, 6% confident. Poll complete, 32 votes. Well, okay, everybody. God bless you all. See you back on Rumble.